Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, December 11th, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The Unity Labour Party attained a historic fourth consecutive term in government following the general elections held on Wednesday, December 9th. 43 candidates from 4 political parties contested the elections, with the Unity Labour Party recapturing 8 seats, including North Central Windward captured by party leader Dr. Rav Gonsalves, North Windward going to Montgomery Daniel, South Central Windward Saboto Caesar, South Windward Frederick Stevenson, Mariaqua St. Clair Jimmy Prince, East St. George Camilla Gonsalves, West St. George Cecil Mackey, and Central Leeward Sir Louis Straker. The New Democratic Party retained its 7 seats, with East Kingston recaptured by party leader Annie Eustace, Central Kingston St. Clair Leacock, West Kingston Daniel Cummings, South Leeward Nigel Stevenson, North Leeward Roland Matthews, Northern Grenadines Gordon Friday, and Southern Grenadines Terence Oliver. The other 2 parties who contested the general elections, as predicted, failed to make an impact on the electorates. They were the SVG Green Party, led by Ivan O'Neill, and the Democratic Republican Party, led by Anicia Batiste. On the streets of Kingstown on Wednesday night, SVG-TV's Bavin Oliver caught up with some of the supporters of the Unity Labour Party to get their reaction to their party's victory.
Hello, I'm Monsieur. I could tell you right now. What plans or policies you see the Unity Labour Party implementing that interests you the most?
Well, let me tell you something. You see, right now, I'm just concerned by the international report. Because I'm a jugger, I'm like, sell plum rose and plum, golden apples and things. So, no one reach foreign fresh.
I want to congratulate Dr. Rav Gonsalves, the leader of the Unity Labour Party, for winning a 4th term. It wasn't easy for the ULP to win a 4th term. They were really struggling in terms of creating history. But of course, the ULP, according to results, have won a 4th term in government. It means progress, not just for young people, but for Vincentians.
It's a 4 in a row, it's a 5 and more. No comments, only lyrics.
4 in a row, forward with mistake. Yeah, I tell them victory was coming on December 9th, and him should park aside. He can't run the country.
The New Democratic Party, on the other hand, in a statement issued on Wednesday, claimed victory at the polls and said that they do not accept the outcome declared, nor the swearing in of Rav Gonsalves as Prime Minister. The NDP says the elections were compromised and that they have strong evidence of electoral irregularities in a number of constituencies. Their claims led to a recount of the ballots at the Layu police station on Thursday, which began at around 8 a.m. and concluded at approximately 5 p.m. SVG-TV's Sharon Garway has the details in this report.
On International Human Rights Day, December the 11th, one day after the general elections, the usually quiet fishing community of Layu in the Central Leeward constituency was in an uproar as party supporters of the New Democratic Party showed their disapproval with the results of the 2015 general elections. Lined off at the front of the Layu police station, where the ballots for the Central Leeward constituency was being recounted, protesters also took the opportunity to candidly express their dissatisfaction with the process.
It's long time they're doing a hypocrite thing. Last time they said Corrado. Now them what? Hands and man a thief God take come on man. Don't be God. The reason why I'm protesting today, because under Rav Gonsalves, nobody will get job in St. Vincent Grenadines. We will be under pressure.
Me vote for Rav in 2001, but when me see me I do to people, me change my mind. I am a strong black woman, and I will not buckle under Rav.
The atmosphere was charged with a heavy police presence. As hours passed on, not even the sun, rain, or thunder could have dispersed the crowd as they waited patiently to hear the final count. The Unity Labour Party ULP candidate for Central Leeward, Sir Louis Straker, made his way into the building to join the NDP's candidate Benjamin Exeter, who was already on the first floor where the recounting was in session. Not too long after, the leader of the New Democratic Party, NDP, Arnhem Eustace, made his way to the station and stood at the top of the stairs in solidarity with the people. He expressed his dissatisfaction with the electoral process.
Gonzales must realize from this that he cannot thwart the will of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we will stand firm against him in this matter. Democracy must reign, and it must reign firmly and strongly in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You can't, with ballot box still uncounted, you can't be going to swear in as Prime Minister.
Sir Louis then came out and made a request for the NDP's leader security detail to do something about dispersing the crowd. However, this turned into an argument between both men.
Straker, how you feel about what's going on here today?
If you should not be permitted, if this were a court, magistrate court, this would not be permitted here. We cannot do, the people cannot do their work upstairs with this kind of bedlam down here.
I have a country the way that is restricted.
Well, if it were court, magistrate court, you would the police. So who is the police?
He is not the police.
But they should not.
He is not the police.
Why you come there to take your loss like a big man? Take your loss like a big man. Take your loss like a big man.
Not too long after Sir Louis left the scene, the NDP's campaign manager Elmore Edwards, who also came onto the site, says the will of the people will stand.
People who understand and appreciate what justice and fairness means are simply registering their discontent at the turn of events and are seeking to have their rights and their justices vindicated.
Son of Arnhem Eustace, Ajani Eustace, also reiterated the need for democracy to reign.
It's an opportunity to have someone in place with integrity who will administer the affairs of the country fairly and evenly for all Vincentians. And I believe that Vincentians have taken that opportunity yesterday, but their votes have not been counted justly. And that is what we're demanding.
Later, NDP candidate for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock, also arrived to show his solidarity.
I think that will resolve the matter here is being a new election here in Central Leeward, because the contamination is that grave. I've never seen and heard anything this serious before, not here, not in the Caribbean.
OAS observers also arrived on the scene, but refrained from making any comment.
More than anything at all. The chief of mission will speak to the press.
The process, which began at 8 a.m., never finished until around 5:40 p.m. Ballot boxes were being removed from the upper to the ground floor after all ballots were tallied. The final count, according to the electoral officials, Benjamin Exeter secured 2,184 and Sir Louis Straker of the ULP secured 2,497, revealing that Straker won the Central Leeward constituency by 313 votes. Sharon Garraway, SVG Television News.
Leader of the New Democratic Party, the NDP, Arnhem Eustace, is promising that his party will work tirelessly to ensure that the issues surrounding what he terms as irregularities at the various polling stations in the Central Leeward area are resolved. Eustace, who waited with protesters outside the Leeward police station where the ballots were being counted, said that his legal team is working assiduously on the matter and they will not give up. Eustace said his party has concrete evidence that the elections have been contaminated.
We will work tirelessly to reverse what has happened here today. Tirelessly to reverse it. Started right here this afternoon. We are going to go through that process. I'm very upset about what has happened. Very, very upset. You know, when you find that you have no voters and ballots, something has to be wrong.
Yes.
Something has to be wrong. It's an foolishness. It is straight corruption. When it comes to ballots are cut off, what are you telling me? Nothing happening anywhere else but in this constituency, in this election. And we will not stop. We have to get this matter resolved.
in the interest not only of Central Leeward, but in the interest of all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm really, really very upset at the decision today.
The NDP leader also expressed his displeasure with the way the electoral presiding officer for the constituency conducted himself as aspects of the recounting were being carried out.
And I looked at the behavior of State South in the office of the returning officer. I want to tell him he is not God. He is not God. And I want you to remember that. Because you will have to answer for what he did to me. You will answer on the source of public opinion, and you will answer to the members of the New Democratic Party. You will have to answer.
And through all the excitement as party supporters and well-wishers celebrated the ULP's victory on Wednesday night, SVG-TV's news team caught up with the party's campaign manager Julian Francis, who was elated with the victory.
4 in a row. That's what we're saying. We worked hard for it. The other two South Leeward seats, South Leeward and North Leeward seat, were marginal. And I believe there's a case in North Leeward to be looked at, and that'll be looked at over the next couple of days with the final count. I understand there were many spoiled ballots in that area. But tonight we go on the preliminary count, and the preliminary count basically is 8-7, having won the South Leeward in the Central Leeward in the preliminary count by 265 votes according to my figures. So we move from 150 to 265.
Noting that the popular vote percentage has increased for the ULP, Francis thanked all supporters for securing another victory for the ULP.
I'm sure he's elated. We expect a little bit better, but it has improved our popular vote. So we reduced the margin significantly in a lot of areas. I don't have the final count on those areas that we didn't lose. The preliminary count, I don't even have those. But I will go with what we have, which is 8-7 forms government. Thanks again for the support for the Unity Labour Party, and we will continue to do the wonderful work that we've been doing.
With the politically charged atmosphere yesterday in Leyu in the Central Leeward constituency, the leadership of the Christian Council issued a statement calling for calm and rule of law. The leadership of the council stated that Vincentians must together find the best way of preserving the young democracy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They also stated that challenges to the outcome of the elections must be made with supporting evidence of wrongdoings, and persons with such evidence must report it to the lawful authorities, both local, Caribbean and international observers, and the National Monitoring Consultative Mechanism, the NMCM. The council appealed for the fostering of love, respect, unity, solidarity in all facets of life and in relationships with each other. They added that justice must not simply be done, but seen to be done. And though the recounting of the ballots for the Central Leeward constituency led to some delay in the swearing-in of the new government, the proceedings did go on as planned, just before 7 p.m. on Thursday, December 10, 2015, when Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves took the oath of office for a 4th consecutive term. Sir Louis Straker was also sworn in as Deputy Prime Minister, with Judith Jones-Morgan as the Governor General. We get more in this report from SVG-TV's Nikita Tony.
Despite reports of irregularities which promoted recounts of several constituencies, the Unity Labour Party, under the leadership of Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, was declared the winner of the Wednesday, December 9th general elections, having won 8 of the 15 contested seats with a 52% majority. The swearing-in ceremony, which was scheduled for 2 p.m. on Thursday, December 10th, 2015, was delayed for the recounts to take place, after which around 6 p.m. the event commenced, officiated by Governor General Sir Frederick Ballantyne, with Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves taking the oath of office for a 4th consecutive victory. The other 2 persons who took oath of office was the Deputy Prime Minister Sir Louis Straker and Attorney General Judith Jones-Morgan. Apologizing for the late start, Governor General Sir Frederick Ballantyne congratulated the newly elected government, along with all party leaders and the successful candidates. He also appealed for all Vincentians to strive for peace and unity.
This has been a very, very hectic and divisive campaign. The campaign is now over. There might or might not be election petitions, but that's for a matter of the court. I can only appeal for all Vincentians to display some of the attributes of Christianity. You know, love for your neighbor, forgiveness, and to forgive those who have wronged you or who you think have wronged you. Forgive those who you think are your enemies and who might well be your enemies. So I'm asking for forgiveness for all of us.
In his brief remarks, newly elected Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves thanked the electorate for once again electing the ULP into government through what he says was a free and fair electoral process.
Fourth consecutive term in office is the Mount Everest of politics. Many men and women have sought to scale those heights, but only few have reached that top. And we have been blessed by Almighty God and the people with an opportunity for 4 consecutive terms. I want to thank the leader of the New Democratic Party and his team and the Green Party candidates and the DRP candidates for their participation in this electoral process, and to thank the Supervisor of Elections and her hard-working staff for conducting free and fair elections yet again in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Reassuring the Governor General of his aim to represent all Vincentians, Dr. Gonsalves noted that anyone who may seek to undermine or defeat the people's will, which he said is sacred, should desist from such action.
The people were insisting that there be no change of government. And if they so insist, it would be a travesty of justice for those who are the minority to seek to arrogate to themselves the power of political suzerainty, when in fact they have lost the right on this occasion to govern. They will come to Parliament, and of course they will exercise their functions in accordance with law, and their constitutional responsibilities will be rough and tumble of politics. But this does not mean that there has to be disrespect or intolerance for one another.
He further stated that there is a lot of work to be done as he and his party go forward as a government.
As is my constitutional responsibility, and to provide those names to His Excellency for formal appointment. And the serious business of work goes on. By the end of January, I'm required to submit to Parliament and have passed the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 2016, and to present the annual budget. So a lot of work lies ahead for the public servants and for the ministers, and of course for the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
The ULP is now planning its celebratory rally for this Saturday at Argyle. Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Nikita Tony.
Despite reported irregularities, the Organization of American States, the OAS, Electoral Mission, congratulated the people of SVG on what it says was a high degree of civic spirit exhibited in a peaceful and successful election day. Ambassador Justin Henry Martin, who headed the mission, pointed out, however, that there should be more regulations in place for campaign financing, as well as a sooner signing of the Code of Conduct to prevent the tension, controversy, and gutter politics that were evident during the period before the elections. Martin says that since the 2010 elections, the OAS has recommended that campaign finance regulations, which will lead to a more equitable and transparent process, be put in place. She also recommends that all parties should sign the Code of Conduct to ensure a clean and peaceful campaign period.
During this electoral process, the mission heard complaints about the use of public resources during the campaign. Smaller political parties felt discriminated against due to the fact that only political parties with representation in the parliament could import campaign materials on a duty-free basis. The mission commends the electorate and the authorities for the calm that prevailed throughout the pre-electoral period, notwithstanding the intensity and strong rhetoric noted during the campaign. The mission notes and commends the political parties for signing a code of conduct for the St. Vincent and the Grenadines general elections, as advanced by the National Monitoring and Consultative Council.
Henry Martin further states that efforts should be made by all the political parties, civil society and government to promote the participation of women in electoral race, which she says will be an effort to ensure that there is equality and shared responsibility, ensuring that women's interests are looked after and their rights strengthened. In reference to the youths, Henry Martin says that political parties and government continue to encourage youth participation at all levels of the process, providing firming programs for the young leaders and opportunities to apply their leadership skills.
The OS mission welcomes the continued high level of participation by women in most areas of the political process, but noted that a mere 7 of the 43 candidates, some 16.28%, were women, the majority of whom were nominated by the two smaller parties. Specifically, the mission recommends that consideration be given to developing legal mechanisms that ensure women are incorporated on the ballot, promoting training programs for women leaders, and strengthening civil society organizations working to promote women's civil and political rights. Youth participation. The mission commends the enthusiastic involvement of youth in the campaign, particularly on social media, and in respect of their consideration of the issues, as well as the noteworthy participation of several younger candidates in the electoral competition.
Additionally, the OAS ambassador said that consideration must be given to the establishment of an independent electoral management body to prevent future claims of the country's election monitoring and management system being biased or in a position of conflict.
Concerns were expressed that the post of supervisor of elections, while created by constitutional mandate, is a dependency of the office of the Prime Minister. It was cited that such dependency could lead to perceptions regarding a lack of autonomy and independence. In addition, the mission thanks the governments of Argentina, South Korea, Spain, and the United States for their contributions, which made this electoral observation mission possible. Having observed the traditional peaceful processes that culminated in the general elections, I would wish to compliment the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the civic mindedness exhibited on December 9th. In that same vein, I would also use this opportunity to urge that the established electoral procedures be utilized to address any differences or disputes which may arise.
And the chief of the CARICOM Observer Mission, Gaspar Jean-Baptiste, said in a preliminary statement issued on Wednesday, quote, "The mission's assessment of the day's activities is that the voters were able to cast their ballots without intimidation or harassment, and that the results of the elections reflect the will of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines," unquote. And owner of Nice Radio Douglas De Freitas was yesterday arrested at the airport on the charge of inciting violence and taken to the Calico police station, where he stayed overnight and was released on bail. The NDP leader describes De Freitas as a good man who speaks his mind, and he believes that he was not in breach of the law.
And they lock up the papers. I believe you know I try to pass organization and the boys and things. So who is not there by the time we get up there? And we did it as so we don't know fair, we say we didn't fight in public. And what is the problem? from the members of the mayor, I want to see what they will this evening. From the presence of the woman, who is an open man, very open-minded, a decent human being, and a strong believer in God Almighty. God will be focused, does not do what they say he does. He does good, but he's fair, and they will regret what they will do.
On election day, persons of East and West St. George as well as South Windward came out in their numbers to exercise their constitutional right to elect a representative and a government of their choosing. On the ground, most persons were of the view that the elections will be free and fair, while a few expressed their concerns about the process. SVG-TV's Bavin Oliver interviewed persons after they voted to get their opinions on the process.
Workers are very efficient and everybody is getting through. The last time I came there were a lot of complaints, but like they step up on the mistake they made and things are going on pretty well and smooth.
Okay, so in terms of the actual voting, was it an easy process for you or were there any difficulties?
No difficulty whatsoever. It's very, very easy. Very, very easy. All right. No difficulty whatsoever.
In terms of how you feel that the elections might be fair or not, do you think
pretty well so, you know. I think the elections will be pretty well fair. It will be fair. I don't see any discrepancies will be developed or anything, but I feel it will be fair.
Ebenezer. Do you think the process will be fair?
Me ain't too sure, but that is I want it to be fair, but I ain't too sure if it will be fair. But I will not make up mine before I go in anyway, so it's been easy for my ex.
No, it was pretty easy. At once I thought it would have been difficult when I saw the lines, but everything went smoothly, just moving real fast.
The process will be fair?
I think so, very much so.
Thank you. It's difficult. It was never difficult. But as you see, I have on glasses, so I wear glasses, so my condition wasn't as good as some other people. But everything went smooth, and I think it's very, very good.
Easy.
Very easy. Right. Were there any sort of inconveniences?
No.
Right. Do you think elections is fair?
Well, I don't really know. That's the first time I vote.
Very easy.
Right. Any hiccups? Any sort of problem?
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Right. And do you feel these elections will be fair?
I hope so. I hope so. You can't say it will be fair and it ain't finished as yet. Okay, well, I just hope so. But it was easy. An easy thing for me. Because I know me play song and I know me play to get a winning candidate. It was easy, but the queue was too long. I think they were a bit too slow inside. But otherwise, okay.
Do you feel the elections will be fair? In your experience voting?
What I see here, it is. What I see in this polling station is okay. Yes.
Do you feel the process is easy?
No. The process is laborious, to say the less. The queues and the waiting times.
Of actually putting the X to the candidates, do you think that would be easy process?
Properly. It was explained, the process was explained properly. I see no favoritism, but all I see was access. Making it easy to get there was not there. It was not an interest.
Yeah. I want to hustle. Anything looks so. Because I will tell you something, I voted in his King song and it's a technical college young lady. I forget, I could have called the young lady name too. And she was a first time voter. And she registered under the ULP. I mean, I ain't got nothing against nobody. And get me right. She was a first time voter. She living in Vermont. And she coming in East Kingston and vote. And one of the officer demonstrate against it. They even throw out and bring a horse a lawyer and say you shouldn't move too much. She shouldn't be too much yard. And that is not fair.
On the leeward side of the island, persons were eager to cast their votes as they queued the lines in the voting process hours before the polling stations opened. SVG-TV's Nikita Tony caught up with voters and agents present at various polling stations in the Central and South Leeward constituencies and files this report.
The well-anticipated day is finally here. Vincentians are today, Wednesday, December 9th, exercising their democratic right as they head to the polls in hopes of either re-electing the Unity Labour Party ULP or vote for a change by electing the New Democratic Party NDP. While the crowd at many polling stations on the leeward side has been trickling down as the hours go by, the various agents said that the process is going smoothly, with great participation from the younger voters.
This morning all year we have a good crowd, but between 12 and 1, everything went smooth, was very slow. Between 12 and 1 because in the morning the majority of people been done voting. So I find everything went down good.
Okay, so what about age range? Youths or mostly elders?
Youths. I find a lot of youths come out this wrong and vote again.
Alright, so it's more youths than you normally see?
See.
The government station, there are 2 polling stations. So when the people come, all they do, they present their ID card and make sure their name is on the list. Okay, and you just send them to wherever, because of 2 polling stations, you send them to wherever they want. Their name is assigned. And that's
going very smooth?
Very smooth. No.
Well, my concern this morning was one of the rules concerning the electoral system. If like there's a disabled person or an illiterate vote and there's somebody who votes at the polling station, they are allowed to vote for the person if they cannot vote. And well, this morning a lady came to vote and she was getting some problem with the presiding officer, and I think that was not right.
We're just looking for their names on the list, and for the first time Rolland Hill has 2 polling stations, so we'll direct them to whether they're at SLA or SLA1.
Process is going smooth, and I find both people coming out, the young one and the old one.
Okay, so they just come and check their names?
Yeah, they check the names and they go back, they go to the polling station.
Those who have already cast their votes expressed why they chose to play an active part in the voting process.
The process was very smooth. Well, I got here around after 11, the line wasn't that long, so I didn't have to wait too long. When you go, they explain the process to you, so everything was going good.
Okay, so why did you come out this morning?
Well, for me, I'm just exercising my constitutional rights, and that's it.
We also caught up with the ULP candidate for Central Leeward, Sir Louis Straker, who came out of retirement to contest in these elections and is very hopeful about the result.
Doing very well so far. The people have been coming out, and particularly the young people have been coming out to vote, which augurs well for the Unity Labour Party. The one problem we have just encountered here is Arnim Eustace's daughter, Mia Eustace. She has been going around from polling station to polling station with an agent form. We are seeking clarification of the law as to whether she has a residence at Rothermill. She is a voter in Rothermill in the East St. George area, and whether she could do that. That will be clarified by the returning officer and the presiding officer. Once they clarify that, that would take care of that. But so far, I am pleased with the turning out, and I'm pleased with what I see. We are hoping that the results would be very favorable to us here in Central Leeward.
The voting process is set to end at 5 p.m. Until then, Vincentians are still being urged to go out and vote. Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Nikita Tony.
And in the Kingston area, persons flocked to the various polling stations to ensure that their ballots were cast. Some of the voters took the opportunity to speak with SVG-TV on how they felt about the voting process.
Yes, I'm proud of it. That's my priority to vote, and I hope everything goes well this afternoon.
So let me see that evidence that you have voted. Very good. So it's very evident there that he has voted with his finger. So tell us how you feel about it.
Feel very good. I tried to intimidate me this morning, saying that I'm not for East Kingston, but I showed them and I went to vote for wrong. Thank you.
Well, what are some of the issues you think need to be dealt with? What are you looking forward to be dealt with?
But in East Kingston, well, for the past 30 years, there was no representation, nothing. So I was giving Luke a chance to see what he can do for the youths.
Things that you want the politicians to deal with when they get into office?
A lot of things like our children's future and VAT, you know, and we can change the economy and bring it back good.
Would you just like to show me that voting finger? All right, so this is evidence and proof that these gentlemen voted today. So tell us how you feel about voting.
Very good, very good. And it's a change. You're feeling it. The finger change and everything else change.
So what are some of the issues that were concerning towards you and what you had for the country?
Issues in Sharp says work. Nothing doing up here. We have to try and get something else be done up here better than we're going on. So that's why we have to come and put the finger in it for that. Yeah. And I telling everybody come out and make sure vote be counted. Because they would not want to miss the chain when it going in. We're pressing gas steady whole morning.
So what about you, sir?
Well, the same thing, because no work in your pay for do and everything, so we just need work and the party go good and everything, and I hope they keep it up if we get in power. But if they keep it in power, half again. If they do 5 and they can't keep up, before we ask for, it don't make no sense.
SVG-TV News caught up with candidates in the West Kingston area. The NDP's Daniel Cummings and the ULP's candidate for Central Kingston, Beresford Phillips, who shared their views on the process.
You're proudly holding your finger. Tell us who you are and how you feel about voting.
Tell us who I am? Well, they call me Daniel Cummings. And some people say the waterman. And it's an honor to have voted for Major Lika. He's going to be a part of the next government. Yeah.
What are some of the things, you are a representative yourself, candidate for the NDP, West Kingston, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to if you win?
Well, when we form government, there are so many things that have been blanked out by this administration for nearly 15 years that we literally have to start from scratch. But initially the critical issue is getting the economy going again, creating opportunities for young people, cutting crime and all of that.
Confident. From what I'm seeing in the lines today, I think I have the edge. I am claiming victory. And I want to thank the people of Central Kingston for their unwavering support.
If you win, what is one of the first things you look forward to doing?
Well, I want to develop the constituency. First of all, I want to look after the young people, I want to look after the elderly, and I want to develop our community facilities. Those are just a few of the items I have on my agenda for immediate action.
Meantime, the New Democratic Party, the NDP, says vigilance on the part of their election agents has foiled an attempt by a person to vote at a polling station in the constituency of East Kingston. The person, according to the NDP, was not eligible to vote because he had not resided in that constituency for the prescribed period and retreated when his qualifications were queried. The NDP says it rejects outright attempts to undermine the free and fair electoral process in SVG and that their agents are in the field and will promptly bring to the attention of the police any instances of electoral fraud and impersonation.